Hello and welcome to my channel Tathastu, and today I'm going to discuss about Rahu and Ketu. Now there are so many stories associated with Rahu and Ketu, and there are so many types of explanations also. But even after these stories and explanations, it may not be an easy task to understand the significance of Rahu and Ketu. That's why today I will try to explain Rahu and Ketu from my perspective. I'll explain why Rahu is a black hole and what exactly Rahu and Ketu signify in a birth chart. And of course, what roles do they play in a birth chart. So let's start with the birth story of Rahu. Now the story is Swan One was a demon and he wanted to drink the elixir of life to become immortal. So he disguised as God, but when it gulped some drops, Vishnu, an extremely powerful god, beheaded this demon. Now the head is called Rahu, and the body without the head is called Ketu. Apart from this story, there are more explanations of Rahu and Ketu. But today I'm going to discuss why they are part of Vedic astrology and what roles do they play. Now, in Vedic astrology, Rahu and Ketu are no real planets. They are called shadow planets. Now, this part is really confusing because in Vedic astrology, it is believed that the house where they are posited in a birth chart, they steal the identity of that house lord. This means they do not have their own signs in astrology, but they steal the identities by possessing their dispositors. For example, Rahu is in Pisces, and this means the lord of Pisces, Jupiter, will act like Rahu, but only for that house. Now, this is where I think Rahu has got many similarities with black hole. A black hole engulfs other planets as it has enormous power. Moreover, it is impossible to know what happens inside a black hole. That's why the periods of Rahu or Ketu, that means the dashas of Rahu and Ketu, are not so easy to interpret. A black hole has tremendous amount of energy inside it, and even light cannot escape from it. Similarly, Rahu means black color, and it does not like sun and moon. That means sun and moon are the enemies of Rahu. If a black hole becomes unstable, then it can disrupt the entire creation. At the same time, there is a huge black hole at the center of our galaxy, Milky Way. That means everything is created from that black hole. Now, Rahu and Ketu forms the axis of a birth chart, and they tell whether a person would do good deeds or bad deeds in his or her life. In the ancient time, perhaps black hole was discovered and it was named Rahu and Ketu. Now, which one is the point from where this black hole exerts the gases? That means that a black hole is swallowing other planets and it is exerting gases. So the point from where it is exerting the gases, it's called Ketu. Here we should remember Ketu means ashes or gray color of smoke. Perhaps that is why Ketu is called Mokshakaraka or liberator. So that black color is Rahu and gray color is Ketu. Under Rahu and Ketu Dasha, people may meet unpredictable and unprecedented events because it could be impossible to know what is going on inside a black hole. Now, I have more realistic explanations of Rahu and Ketu. Rahu is the mouth and Ketu is the anus. Food is entering and it is getting out of the body. Food is entering through the mouth hole and it is getting out through the anus. Both of these holes are very important in a body. As a living being's energy depends on the two holes or what that person eats. Similarly, Rahu and Ketu controls the energy of an entire birth chart. On this Rahu and Ketu axis, the entire birth chart is spinning. So, a person who can control excitement, confusion, and greed may have good Rahu and Ketu in a birth chart. To understand Rahu, we should know another story because there is another story. Now, Lord Vishnu's Varaha avatar, or the incarnation of a boar to save earth, that's the story. Now, you can search on the internet if you want to know the story, this incarnation of boar or Varaha avatar. On the other hand, Lord Vishnu's Matsya avatar, or the incarnation of fish, is related to Ketu. Now, Varaha, that means boar, and fish, Rahu and Ketu, these two avatars are from two different worlds. One is living in the forest and another is living in the water. The boar fought to save Earth and the fish just warned the king of the upcoming natural disaster. Now both are saving Earth in these stories but in different ways. You can read these stories to understand more about them. Now, how it influences our lives. Now, Rahu is greed and uncontrollable growth. Any sudden growth is Rahu. It could be economic growth, muscle growth, or growth in the number of friends. Anything that is uncountable and uncontrollable represents Rahu. Rahu is stubbornness and it always wants materialistic things. Rahu wants to enjoy everything that a person can touch. Rahu can take the form of innocent and evil, and it can change itself only for profits and gains. So it can change its form. It can become an innocent guy and it can become an evil guy. Okay. Rahu is obsession. If a person is obsessed with anything, that is part of Rahu. When a person is not satisfied and when the person wants more and more, that feeling is also Rahu. Rahu is deception and it can divert a person's thoughts. Hence, under Rahu Dasha, confusion arises and it takes years to realize what that planet actually wants. The major difference between Rahu and Ketu is that Rahu never hides things and Ketu always hides things. Ketu is snake, it acts stealthily. Ketu is sleep and dream, and it is the subconscious mind. Ketu is the liberator, and Ketu has got no emotion, and it represents everything that is numb. To understand Rahu and Ketu, we should also look at who are their friends and enemies. The best part is that Rahu has got two friends, and these two friends are really powerful. Number one is Venus, number two is Saturn. So, luxurious and smooth growth is Rahu and Venus connection, and painful and slow growth is Rahu and Saturn connection. But both will grow. When Rahu and Ketu sits with any other planet, then that planet becomes extremely strong. For example, Rahu and Jupiter in the first house, if a person has got Rahu and Jupiter in Lagna, then the first house may make a person extremely good looking. But at the same time, that person may not like advices or moral principles. Only an aspect of Mars and Saturn can control or slow down Rahu. Ketu's friend list is good. Sun, Moon, and Mars are the friends of Ketu. So if Ketu is with these planets, then Ketu tries to hide or channelize the energy of these planets for good. But Saturn and Ketu may not be a great connection combination. Venus Ketu may not be also a very good connection because they are the uh, enemies of Ketu. May provoke These connections may provoke a person to do evilish things in a hidden way. For example, black magic comes under Ketu and Saturn, and this black marketing and illicit love affair, these things comes under Ketu Venus. Now Rahu is multipleness and Ketu is alone or loneliness, you can say. Rahu is chaos and Ketu is meditation. Rahu is disbalance and Ketu is balance. Rahu is visible and Ketu is invisible. Rahu is maturity and Ketu is philosophy. Rahu is illegal things whereas Ketu is hidden things. Rahu exposes things but Ketu hides things. Rahu is materialistic but Ketu is something beyond the material world. Rahu is the life that people experience when they are alive, and Ketu is the afterlife or the world of spirits. Hence, Rahu and Ketu cannot coexist together. Under Rahu Dasha, uh, these 2 points cannot coexist together. If you are going to look at in a birth chart, you will find that Rahu and Ketu, they are sitting at the opposite position, these 2 points. So they cannot coexist because they represent two opposite worlds, materialistic world and spiritual world. Under Rahu Dasha, a person may become materialistic, mature and greedy. But under Ketu Dasha, a person may experience loneliness and spirituality. The Lord of the Rahu and Ketu's house should be in a good house. Then Rahu and Ketu Dasha could be beneficial. If Rahu and Ketu's axis is in a good position, then a person may dedicate his or her life to attain something really big. Anybody who has attained top positions can control Rahu and Ketu. When they are under control, it means greed and confusion are under control. As a result, the energy of an entire birth chart never go to waste. Okay, so that's the end of the video, and more videos are coming. If you want to learn Vedic astrology, you can follow my channel.